The massive alien ship drifted through the dark space near the edge of Sector 7 Alpha. Inside the command center, Captain Thelver studied the glowing displays with satisfaction. His 4 eyes moved across the readings, showing human settlements that looked broken and empty. "Look at this," he said to his second officer, pointing at the screen. "The humans tried to build something big here, but they failed completely." The display showed what appeared to be mining stations with barely any power. Communication towers sent out only static noise. The few human settlements they could detect seemed to be struggling just to survive. "Should we report this to the council?" asked the officer. "Yes," Thelver replied. "The humans bit off more than they could chew. This whole sector is ready for us to take." Far below, on what looked like a broken mining platform, Commander Kim Hanna sat in a room that appeared to be falling apart. The walls looked cracked, the lights flickered, and everything seemed old and damaged. But appearances could be deceiving. Hanna pressed her hand against what looked like a rusted control panel. The surface recognized her touch and silently came to life. Hidden displays showed her everything. The alien ship above, its weapon systems, crew size, and even the captain's meal preferences from intercepted communications. Another one, taking the bait. She whispered into a communicator that looked like a broken radio, but was actually connected to a quantum network spanning the entire sector. The response came immediately from Admiral Parkman, whose voice carried across space through technology the aliens above couldn't even imagine. "How many scouts this week?" 15 different ships from 8 different species, Hanna replied. "They all see exactly what we want them to see." The truth was that Sector 7 Alpha was anything but abandoned. Every broken station was actually a sophisticated military outpost. Every failed mine was a weapons manufacturing facility. Every struggling colony was a training ground for Earth's most advanced soldiers. The deception had taken 20 years to perfect. Human engineers had designed holographic systems that could fool any known alien sensor. The stations broadcast false energy signatures that made them appear nearly powerless while actually running on fusion cores that could power entire worlds. Even the people living in the sector played their parts perfectly. Colonist Li Jun walked through what appeared to be a failing farm, but underneath his feet lay one of the most advanced command centers ever built. His crops looked diseased and sparse, but they were actually specially designed to hide sensor equipment. "The Kralian ship is moving to Section 7, June reported as he pretended to tend to his sick-looking vegetables. "They're scanning the Anderson Station." The Anderson Station looked like it had been abandoned for years. Rust covered its hull, and it drifted slowly through space as if its engines had failed long ago. But inside, Captain Cho Yuna monitored the alien scan with amusement. "They're reading exactly what we programmed," she told her crew. "Minimal life support, no weapons, structural damage at 60%. The reality was that the Anderson Station could have destroyed the Kralian ship with weapons the aliens didn't know existed. But that would ruin everything they had worked for. Back in the alien ship, Captain Thelver completed his report to the Galactic Council. "Sector 7 Alpha shows complete human withdrawal," he transmitted. "Infrastructure failing. Population scattered. No military presence detected. Recommend immediate territorial claim." On dozens of other hidden stations throughout the sector, human personnel received the transmission and smiled. They had been listening to alien communications for years, learning everything about their technology, their weaknesses, and their plans. The aliens thought they were studying abandoned human territory. They had no idea that every sensor sweep, every communication, and every tactical decision was being recorded and analyzed by the most advanced intelligence network in the galaxy. Lieutenant Namsu sat in what appeared to be the ruins of an old research lab. The ceiling had holes in it, the equipment looked ancient, and the whole place seemed ready to collapse. But when he activated the hidden controls, the room transformed into a command center that could coordinate military operations across multiple star systems. "Sir," he reported to Admiral Parkman, "we now have complete technical specifications on Thelver-S ship type. Their shields have a rotation frequency we can exploit, and their weapons systems have a 2-second delay between shots." "Excellent," replied the Admiral. "Add it to the database." "How many alien ship types do we have complete data on now?" 437 different classes from 72 species, Namsu answered. "They keep showing us their latest technology, thinking we're too primitive to understand it." The irony was perfect. The aliens saw humans as a species that had tried to expand too fast and failed. They viewed the abandoned sector as proof that humanity lacked the technology and wisdom to compete with older galactic civilizations. They were completely wrong. Every broken station, every failed colony, every struggling settlement was actually a carefully crafted illusion. Behind the facade of human failure lay the most sophisticated military deception in galactic history. The aliens would learn the truth soon enough, but by then, it would be far too late. 3 weeks after Captain Thelver's report reached the Galactic Council, the alien fleets began arriving in force. The Hegemony Navy sent their best survey ships, followed by Kralian deep space scouts and Vorthok reconnaissance teams. They all came to study what they believed was humanity's greatest failure. Captain XI commanded the largest survey operation from his flagship Eternal Glory. His mission was simple: map every human installation in the sector and assess their value for future colonization. The preliminary scans looked promising. Dozens of human outposts showed minimal activity and outdated technology. Begin detailed analysis of Grid 7. XI ordered his science officer. I want to know everything about their failed mining operations. What Captain XI didn't know was that every scan his ship performed was being watched, recorded, and analyzed by the humans he thought he was studying. On mining platform Delta 7, Lieutenant Park Juno sat in what appeared to be a maintenance closet filled with broken equipment. The walls were covered with patches. The air smelled of rust, and everything looked like it hadn't been properly maintained in years. But when Juno placed his palm on a seemingly damaged panel, the entire room came alive. Hidden screens displayed the alien ship in perfect detail. Advanced sensors that didn't officially exist tracked every movement of XI's crew. Quantum computers analyzed their communication patterns, weapons signatures, and tactical procedures. They're using active scanning on sectors 12 through 18, Juno reported through his hidden communicator, recording all sensor frequencies and penetration methods. The response came from Commander Omin aboard a ship that officially didn't exist. Understood. Maintain current camouflage levels. Let them see everything we want them to see. The beauty of the deception was in its completeness. When alien sensors detected human settlements, they found exactly what they expected: struggling colonies with basic technology, failing infrastructure, and populations barely hanging on. Colonist Choi Luna played her part perfectly. She lived in New Haven Colony, which appeared to be a farming settlement on the edge of collapse. The buildings looked old and poorly maintained. The crops seemed diseased. The power grid worked only part of the time, but underneath New Haven Colony lay one of humanity's most advanced military research facilities, while Luna pretended to struggle with her failing farm equipment above ground. Teams of scientists below were developing weapons that could reshape the laws of physics. The Vorthok scout ship is passing overhead, Luna reported as she dug in her garden. To any observer, she was just a frustrated farmer trying to make her crops grow. In reality, she was providing tactical intelligence to a network that spanned the galaxy. The alien surveys continued for months. Each species sent their best intelligence teams to study the abandoned sector. They cataloged every human installation, measured their energy outputs, and analyzed their technology. The reports they sent back painted a clear picture of human failure and withdrawal. Captain Vex of the Kralian Empire spent 6 weeks studying what appeared to be a massive human shipyard in the asteroid belt. His sensors showed rusted construction equipment, half-built ships that would never fly, and work crews that had clearly given up long ago. This is pathetic, Vex told his crew as they watched human workers slowly move pieces of scrap metal around. They tried to build a fleet out here and couldn't even finish a single ship. What Vex couldn't see was that the unfinished ships were actually some of the most advanced vessels ever constructed. The scrap metal his workers were moving contained technology that made his own ship look primitive. The failing shipyard was producing one completed warship every 3 days. Lieutenant Kim Hanna worked in the shipyard's apparent control room, which looked like it had been abandoned for months. Dust covered everything, half the monitors didn't work, and the few functioning systems showed constant error messages. But when she touched a hidden control, the room revealed its true nature. Advanced holographic displays showed the positions of every alien ship in the sector. Tactical computers calculated the exact specifications of their weapons and shields. Manufacturing schedules displayed the production of weapon systems the aliens couldn't even imagine. The Kralian captain is requesting permission to board the facility, Hannah reported to her superior. Denied, came the immediate response from Admiral Lee. Tell them the airlocks are malfunctioning and it's not safe. Make it look like we're embarrassed by our failures. The psychological aspect of the deception was just as important as the technical elements. The aliens needed to see humans as a species that had reached too far and fallen short. Every interaction reinforced this image. When alien officers occasionally spoke with human colonists, they heard stories of supply shortages, equipment failures, and dreams that had turned into nightmares. The humans played their roles perfectly, defeated, struggling, and clearly outmatched by the challenges of deep space colonization. But in the hidden command centers, the real story was being written. Every alien scan was analyzed and countered. Every tactical system was studied and surpassed. Every weakness was identified and cataloged. The Watchers had become the watched, and they had no idea that their every move was being recorded by the very people they thought they were studying. Admiral Korath's massive war fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Sector 7 Alpha with the confidence of hunters. Approaching wounded prey, 57 ships of the Hegemony Navy arranged themselves in perfect battle formation. their weapons charged and ready to claim what they believed was defenseless human territory. "All ships report, ready for conquest," announced his tactical officer. Target list includes 43 human installations, all showing minimal defensive capability. Korath smiled with satisfaction as he studied the tactical display. Months of intelligence gathering had painted a clear picture. The humans had overextended themselves and left behind nothing but failing outposts and broken dreams. "Begin Phase 1, he commanded. "Disable their communications first, then systematically destroy each installation. Make this quick." On the bridge of the hidden battleship Prometheus, Admiral Yunte watched the alien fleet's approach with calm patience. Around him, displays showed the true scope of humanity's presence in the sector. Hundreds of ships, dozens of fortress installations, and weapons systems that the aliens couldn't even detect. "All units confirm ready status," reported Captain Nam Su from the tactical station. Stealth fields holding steady, weapons fully charged, dimensional anchors locked in position. The waiting was almost over. 20 years of careful deception, months of allowing themselves to be studied and catalogued, all leading to this moment when the galaxy would see humanity's true face. The hegemony fleet moved into attack formation, targeting what appeared to be the sector's primary communication hub, a cluster of stations that looked barely functional. Admiral Korath gave the order to fire, expecting to see the pathetic human defenses crumble immediately. Instead, the sector exploded into light and activity. Stealth fields collapsed in perfect synchronization, revealing Earth's hidden armada. In all its terrifying glory, ships that had been invisible moments before materialized around the alien fleet like ghosts becoming solid. The failing stations powered up weapon systems that bent the laws of physics. Commander Omin, aboard the phase shift destroyer Shadowstrike, watched her targeting systems lock onto 3 alien cruisers simultaneously. "Multiple targets acquired," she reported with professional calm. Engaging with quantum disruptors, her weapons fired bursts of energy that seemed to ignore the alien ship's shields entirely, striking directly at their hull plating. The enemy vessels shuddered as their armor began to break down at the molecular level. "Impossible," screamed Captain Vex from his Kralian battleship. "Our sensors show nothing. Where are these attacks coming from?" The answer became clear as the abandoned asteroid field began to unfold like a mechanical flower. What the aliens had catalogued as a failed mining operation revealed itself as the massive fortress shipyard New Terra. Weapons platforms the size of cities emerged from camouflaged positions, their gun batteries trained on the now alien fleet. Lieutenant Park Juno, still maintaining his position on what had appeared to be a broken mining platform, activated the installation's true systems. The rusty exterior fell away like a discarded shell, revealing a military command center bristling with advanced sensors and communication arrays. "All deception protocols terminated," he announced across the quantum network, revealing true capabilities. On all frequencies, the psychological impact was devastating. Alien captains watched their tactical displays update in real time as hundreds of new contacts appeared. Ships that existed in parallel dimensions phased into normal space. Entire moons shed their holographic camouflage to expose planetary defense. Grids that could shatter worlds. "This is Admiral Yunte of the Earth Defense Fleet," came the transmission that echoed across all alien communication channels. "You have entered human territory with hostile intent. You have exactly 15 minutes to power down your weapons and surrender unconditionally." Admiral Korath's flagship shuddered as weapons he couldn't understand tore through his shields. Like they weren't there, emergency reports flooded his bridge from throughout the fleet, ships losing power, weapons systems failing, and hull breaches appearing with no visible cause. "Sir, we need to retreat," his tactical officer shouted over the alarms. "Their technology is beyond anything in our databases." But retreat was no longer an option. The human fleet had positioned itself with perfect precision, using dimensional manipulation to appear at exactly the right coordinates to prevent escape. Advanced AI systems coordinated their movements with inhuman accuracy. Captain Cho Yuna, commanding the dimensional battlecruiser Horizon's Edge, watched alien vessels attempt to flee through hyperspace only to find their escape routes blocked by gravitational anomalies that shouldn't exist. "They're trying to jump to hyperspace," she reported. "Quantum interdiction fields are holding. No escape possible." The battle that followed wasn't really a battle at all, it was a demonstration. Human weapons struck with surgical precision, disabling rather than destroying. They wanted prisoners, not corpses. Information, not revenge. In less than 4 hours, the mighty hegemony warfleet was reduced to drifting hulks and escape pods. Not a single human ship had taken damage. The technological gap wasn't just significant, it was absolute. As the last alien vessel powered down its weapons in surrender, Admiral Yoon's voice filled the silence once again. "Welcome to humanity's real frontier. The abandoned sector you came to claim was never abandoned. It was a trap, and you walked right into it. Your defeat here is just the beginning. Send word to your governments. The galaxy has a new master, and it's time they learned to respect it." The revelation was complete. The hunters had become the hunted. The Battle of Sector 7 Alpha ended with the complete surrender of Admiral Koret's fleet. But for humanity, this was only the beginning. Within hours of the alien surrender, new orders flowed through the quantum communication network to every hidden human installation across the galaxy. Captain Beek-Rin received her instructions aboard the dimensional battle cruiser Horizon's Edge as her ship's exotic matter engines hummed to life. The vessel existed partially outside normal space, making it invisible to conventional sensors and able to travel distances that should have been impossible. All ships, this is Admiral Yoon, came the transmission. Phase 2 is now active. Show them that attacking humanity has consequences. Target all military installations within 12 sectors. Civilian populations are not to be harmed. The human fleet didn't stop at defending Sector 7 Alpha. Ships that could phase through dimensions appeared in alien home systems light years away, striking with surgical precision at military targets. The galaxy watched in horror as their most advanced fleets were systematically dismantled by technology that seemed to rewrite the laws of physics. On the hegemony capital world of Vex Prime, Defense Coordinator Zalf sat in his command center watching impossible reports flood in. "Sir, they're attacking our shipyards at Kepler Station," reported his aide, voice shaking. "The entire facility is gone. No trace of the attacking ships." "How many ships hit the station?" Zalf demanded. "That's the problem, sir. Our sensors detected nothing. The shipyard just stopped existing. Then we received a transmission saying it had been disassembled for the safety of galactic peace." Lieutenant Colonel Song Hei commanded the stealth infiltrator, Ghost Protocol. As it orbited Vex Prime, completely undetected, her ship existed in a dimensional pocket that made it impossible to find, even when it was firing weapons at point-blank range. "Military production facility at Grid 77, neutralized," she reported to Fleet Command. "No civilian casualties detected. The aliens still have no idea we're here." The pattern repeated across dozens of alien worlds. Humanity's ships appeared without warning, eliminated military threats with impossible precision, and vanished before effective resistance could be organized. Each strike carried the same message. The abandoned regions had been preparation, not retreat. Admiral Ko Nara coordinated the multi-sector operation from the command ship Unity's strength. A vessel so advanced it could process tactical information from hundreds of battles simultaneously. Her displays showed the real-time collapse of alien military power across the galaxy. Krallian, 3rd Fleet, eliminated at Proxima 7, reported her tactical officer. Vorthok defense grid neutralized at their home system. No human casualties in any engagement. The aliens were learning that their weapons simply couldn't touch human ships. Energy beams passed through vessels that existed in parallel dimensions. Missiles exploded harmlessly against shields that bent spacetime itself. Nuclear weapons detonated uselessly against armor that absorbed energy and converted it to power. Captain Nam Su, aboard the quantum destroyer Infinite Edge, watched a full alien battle fleet attempt to intercept his single ship near the Orion Nebula. The enemy vessels surrounded his position and opened fire with everything they had. Direct hits from 47 weapons. His tactical officer reported with amusement. "Hull integrity unchanged. They're not even scratching our paint." Namsu activated his ship's primary weapon, a quantum disruptor that could destabilize matter. At the subatomic level, the alien flagship simply came apart, its molecular bonds failing in a cascade of light. "This is Captain Namsu to all Vorthok vessels," he transmitted. "Your weapons cannot harm us. Your shields cannot stop us. Surrender now and your crews will be spared." The psychological impact was devastating. Alien military commanders who had spent their careers believing in their technological superiority now faced opponents who seemed to control reality itself. Panic spread through their ranks as reports of impossible defeats reached every corner of the galaxy. On Kralian Prime, General Vexstar received increasingly desperate communications from his scattered fleets. "Sir, the humans are everywhere. They attack our bases, destroy our ships, and vanish before we can respond. Our most advanced sensors can't even detect them." "How many ships are they using?" Vexstar demanded. "That's what we can't understand, sir. It might be one ship, it might be 1,000. They appear and disappear at will. Our tactical computers can't track them." The truth was even more terrifying than the aliens imagined. Humanity had developed technology that made conventional warfare obsolete. Their ships existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, striking from angles that shouldn't exist. Their weapons ignored the fundamental laws that governed all other technology in the galaxy. Commander Kim Hanna, now aboard the phase strike cruiser Shadowwalker, led her squadron through the heart of the hegemony's remaining military stronghold. The aliens had gathered their last functional fleet in a desperate attempt to make a stand. 36 enemy vessels detected, her sensor officer reported. "They're using their strongest shields and most powerful weapons." "Understood," Hannah replied calmly. "Begin dimensional phase. Strike from the 7th dimension." Her ships simply stepped sideways through reality, appearing inside the alien formation where shields couldn't protect them. The battle lasted less than 10 minutes. Within 6 months of the revelation at Sector 7 Alpha, the galaxy's military balance had shifted completely. The species that had once dismissed humanity as technologically inferior now faced the reality that they were utterly outmatched. The counterstrike was complete. It was time for negotiations on humanity's terms. 6 months after the revelation at Sector 7 Alpha, the Galactic Council met in emergency session for what everyone knew would be the most important gathering in galactic history. The great crystal chamber that had once echoed with the confident voices of alien leaders now sat in tense silence. The massive doors opened, and Ambassador Ruhana walked into the chamber with quiet authority. Behind her came a delegation of humans who carried themselves with the confidence of a species that had just rewritten the rules of galactic civilization. The alien representatives, who had once looked down on humanity as primitive newcomers, now watched with barely concealed fear. Honored council members, Ambassador Ru began, her voice carrying easily through the vast space. I stand before you not as a representative seeking favor, but as the voice of Earth's new position in this galaxy. The holographic display activated, showing not just Sector 7 Alpha, but 17 other regions previously dismissed as human failures. Each one revealed its true nature: massive military installations, advanced research facilities, and fleets that made the Council's combined forces look like children's toys. Council Chairman Vexte, his multiple eyes trembling, struggled to find his voice. Ambassador Ru, surely we can reach some accommodation. The past misunderstandings can be resolved through negotiation. General Simwu, Earth's new Galactic Defense Coordinator, stepped forward. His uniform bore no decorations, but every alien in the room knew he commanded forces that could reshape star systems. There will be no negotiations, he stated simply. There will be new terms, and you will accept them. The terms were delivered with clinical precision. Complete military disarmament of all alien fleets, supervised by human forces. Technology, sharing agreements that heavily favored Earth's continued advancement. Restructuring of all galactic trade routes to pass through human-controlled space. Most importantly, the establishment of human authority over all interstellar conflicts. Ambassador Thelquin, of the Kralian Empire, the same species that had first discovered the abandoned sector, tried to protest. This is impossible to accept. You're asking us to surrender our sovereignty. You surrendered your sovereignty the moment you decided to attack what you thought was a defenseless human settlement, replied Ambassador Ru coldly. The only question now is whether you'll accept these terms peacefully or learn the hard way that resistance is futile. To emphasize the point, Captain Wanji, monitoring from the stealth observation ship Final Judgment in orbit above the Council world, transmitted real-time footage of human fleets positioned around every major alien homeworld. The message was, clear resistance would be met with overwhelming force. The hegemony representative, Admiral Koret's replacement, spoke with the voice of defeat. What guarantees do we have that humanity will honor these agreements? The same guarantee you gave us when you planned to divide our territory among yourselves, answered General Simwu. None. The difference is, we have the power to enforce our will, and you don't. The psychological transformation was complete. Species that had spent millennia believing they were the galaxy's dominant civilizations now faced the reality that they had been living in a universe controlled by beings whose true capabilities they had never even suspected. Lieutenant Park Juno, still stationed on what had once appeared to be a failing mining platform, monitored communications across the galaxy. Every alien transmission was being recorded and analyzed. The species that had once studied humanity now found themselves under constant observation. Sir, he reported to Admiral Li Han, we're detecting surrender signals from 47 different alien military commands. The Vorthok Empire has already begun dismantling their battle fleets. The speed of the collapse surprised even human military planners. Faced with technology they couldn't understand and weapons they couldn't fight, the galaxy's former powers chose submission over annihilation. Commander Omin, aboard her dimensional destroyer, received new orders as the last pockets of alien resistance crumbled. Begin establishment of monitoring stations in all former alien military sectors. Came the transmission, full-spectrum surveillance on all remaining fleets. The new reality was simple. Humanity now controlled the galaxy, not through conquest, but through the revelation that conquest had never been necessary. They had possessed overwhelming power all along and had simply chosen not to use it. Until threatened. Ambassador Wu delivered humanity's final statement to the assembled council. For 30 years, you underestimated us. You saw our struggles as weakness and our setbacks as proof of your superiority. You planned to divide our territories and limit our expansion. She paused, letting the weight of her words sink in. What you failed to understand is that every abandoned region, every failed colony, every struggling outpost was part of a test. We were not trying to prove ourselves to you, we were studying you, learning your weaknesses, and preparing for for the day when your arrogance would force us to act. The truth was devastating in its simplicity. Humanity had never been the junior species struggling to find its place among advanced civilizations. They had been the apex predator, patient and careful, waiting for the right moment to reveal their true nature. The galaxy now operates under human authority, Ambassador Ru concluded. Your fleets will serve our purposes. Your resources will fuel our expansion. Your technology will advance our goals. You brought this upon yourselves by mistaking patience for weakness. As the session ended and the alien representatives filed out in defeat, the galaxy entered its new age. The Watchers had become the masters, and the age of human dominance had begun.